Times Square, 42nd Street.
Take a look around. How many passengers are riding the subway car with you? 5? 10? There are millions of tiny passengers riding with you, and chances are that most of them are hitching a ride on you.
Tuck in those hands and put on your face masks, because we're talking about
germs, 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 much too small to see.
So when you think of wildlife safari, does the subway come to mind? A new project from the Urban Landscape Lab at Columbia University is what they call Safari 7, a tour of the urban animal life along the 7 line of the subway system. Using podcasts and a brand new reading room, you can take a ride through the ecology and political ecology of Manhattan and Queens from Times Square to Flushing, learning about germs, oysters, squirrels, fish, dogs, wetlands, and landfills along the way. Janette Kim, who directs the lab, and Glen Cummings, a graphic designer with the firm MTWTF, join me now to talk about Safari 7. Welcome to WNYC. Hi.
It's great to be here.
Yeah.
Your project keeps growing, I understand, but the core of it is a series of podcasts, time to play as you ride along the number 7 subway line, right, Janette?
That's right. The Safari 7 project is basically focused on podcasts, maps, and drawings that we distribute and invite people to listen to as they ride the number 7 train line. And it's really meant to be a kind of urban exploration insight, kind of using the train itself as a kind of tour bus, as a kind of a launch point into the city.
So we just heard a little of the podcast audio at the first stop, Times Square, which starts out talking about all the people and all the germs in the car with you. And we'll hear another clip from Safari 7 coming up. But it's not an advertisement for hand sanitizers, all that scary stuff about germs, right?
It's not, but it's also not intended to be scary. I think one of the interesting things about that podcast is that it recognizes that germs are just sort of part of our everyday life, that we're always going to be exposed to germs. And as much as we might think that we would, want to stay away from contact, this kind of contact that we get in like our diverse kind of teeming city, literally teeming city, actually boosts our immune systems and makes us stronger.
Glenn, you call this political ecology. Are each of the stops as much about the politics, meaning the people behind the ecology, as animals and plants?
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's about the intersection of...
That was a yes or no. Yes and no tone of voice. Sort of yes and no, right?
It's kind of yes, but more in a more complex way. Because it's about the animals interacting with animals and the animals interacting with humans, and both of those things acting with the kind of plants and kind of other things in the environment. It's more or less kind of about overlaps. So in terms of politics, it can be literally political in terms of like human politics, or it can be kind of animal politics as well sometimes.
Janette, you want to add on to that? Your lab is called the Urban Landscape Lab at Columbia University. So is it just natural ecology or also political and human ecology?
Yes, it's very much a combination of those things. And I think one of the important messages of the project is that New York's urban ecology is itself kind of inseparable from issues of human health, urban development, leisure practices, and kind of the way that we use the city in general. And so some of the podcasts that we have produced kind of look at sort of unintended and intended consequences of development projects on bird life in the East River, oysters in the river, squirrels, kind of an incredibly rich mixture of plants and animals in vacant lots that are left over from land use practices.